I would recommend Blue Ape for any organisation considering having solar installed. It's been a really seamless process for us. They've been so supportive from start to finish, and hopefully the system will really help us work towards being a greener organisation. So it's something we've wanted for quite a while. Really keen to see how we can be greener as a practice. Obviously, electricity bills and energy bills aren't getting any cheaper, so it would be a real benefit. And we found Blue Ape, and it was a fantastic offer that they came to us with. So it felt like the right time to do it. We'd explored it in the past with different grants and levies and things, and it was all just a bit out of reach, unfortunately. But managed to come to an agreement that really worked for the practice. So it was actually a recommendation. So I used to work at the hospitals in Sheffield, and they had, I think they had a different installer, but they recommended a different hospital that Blue Ape had installed on, and said they did a fantastic job. So it was on recommendation, really. Craig was fantastic. He's been just available throughout all of it, just a WhatsApp away. Really helpful. Talked us through the whole process, the design, what it meant for us, what our different options were. He was able to advise us in terms of battery storage and whether it was going to be beneficial for us or not. Help us to understand with there's lots of tree coverage nearby, so how we could really optimize our solar generation and energy generation, and literally it's just been a phone call or a WhatsApp away, and so helpful throughout the whole process. I looked at the social media and on the website, some testimonials from other places that had a fit out, and seemed to get really good reviews. I think somewhere everywhere I go to is Google reviews as well, and they all seem to be glowing. So we were really keen to work with someone that seemed to know what they were doing, and do a good job. And I think the fact that you'd done other public sector and NHS buildings meant a lot to us as well, because we really need to prioritise patients' privacy and everything else going on, and ensure that the contractors that are on site are who they say they are, and they're going to keep that privacy upheld as well. Reading detailed process, went through exactly what they need to access. Also looked outside in terms of where all wires would run to make sure there are no eyesores being added to the outside of the building. Went into the electrical cabinet, looked through all of that in terms of where the inverters would go, make sure everything was compatible with our meters and everything in our fuse boxes, and they just talked us through the whole process from start to finish and what we'd expect. And the process has been exactly kind of, they didn't talk us through something that didn't come to fruition. It was very much a very clearly laid out process. That site visit done by Chloe as the MD. It's a really nice touch. I think you can talk to some companies and never even know who the MD is, who's sat at the top, never mind them actually come out and do the site visit. So I think to know that she's interested and invested in everything that goes off and really wants to make sure it is a smooth and seamless process does make a difference. It's put a face to the name, and just be someone on the other end of an email is really nice. Really helpful, and really clear timescales were given in terms of the installed scaffolding, and also the detail in terms of who'd be here at what point, so the roofers first and the electricians. So yeah, Emily was really helpful, described the process, again just a phone call away if we needed anything, and just was able to give all the detail we needed, really. Yeah, professional, really helpful. They actually identified an issue within our roof that we had fixed previously, but they got into a bit of a mess again, and they were able to advise on what we could do to sort that as well. They were done really quickly, really efficiently. So Phil came out and did the site visit beforehand, and then was around all week through the installation. Talked us through exactly what was going on in the electrical cupboard, talked us through the inverters and how the system worked and everything. And they were all great and all really professional. We, at the end of the day, they've got scaffolding up next to consulting rooms where patients are, so they were really sensitive and professional the whole time. It was just due to the generation. So one thing Craig talked us through was each month of the year what our average generation of electricity would look like. And I think there's only maybe 4 or 5 months where it would be in surplus of what we use at the moment. That surplus wasn't particularly big, And this was all before we've had a piece of estates works done to actually expand. So consumption's likely to go up, which will eat into that excess. Once we start using the car chargers, that'll probably eat into it also. There's probably not actually going to be much excess generated that's going to be worth storing really anyway. And also the tariffs have just come back for selling back to the grid for commercial. So if there was anything as small as what it might be, there's always that option in the future, but there didn't seem to be enough energy generated in excess to warrant the cost of it. Yeah, I think with building being it's nearly a 30-year-old building now, we're unsure what it meant from an electrical perspective, whether it would all be compatible with the kit we'd already got in. So the team talked us all through that. We were worried about the roof and could it take the weight, and we were really well reassured that a full audit and everything was going to be done to make sure it was all fine. And it was. Another thing that was really helpful as well, when we spoke to our building insurance about having solar added, Chloe and Craig and the team were able to answer all the questions that the insurance company threw at us regarding risk and weight due to snow and wind with the solar and everything, and we just had all the answers ready for us. So I guess our main worries when they were put into perspective were really well managed, and the team were able to just help us do all of it really. Yeah, I think so. For me, there was, from when we started to now, there's been lots of different iterations of the design and how we're going to have it done. He was so quick to turn around any changes that we wanted, but I think what really stood out for me is the system itself and how we can monitor the generation and look at what way we to do with it essentially. We've had, about 3 years ago, we had a grant to put some electric vehicle car chargers in car park, and what it means is that we'll be able to utilise them even better now, and that was something Craig was able to help with as well. I think the first thing that was really slick. It's been such a smooth process, literally from the very start right up until finishing now. So yeah, if there is a better word to describe smooth process, definitely it's just been, I guess, seamless. We'll go with that. Yeah, I'd absolutely recommend Blue Ape to do it. I think from a professionality perspective, and just all the considerations that were made with us being an NHS organisation. Craig, even when we were booking in the media coverage today, said, "Is it all right? Are you happy with it being NHS?" And confirmed that all privacy will be upheld, patients will be considered, and all that sort of thing. So it felt like Blue Ape were a company that they didn't just want a quick sale, they were actually invested in the product that they were delivering and how it was delivered as well.